Hare Krishna. Welcome back to the series of discussing Bhagavad Gita. Today we shall be discussing text 18 and 19th from the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana-chalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vancha kalpatarubhyascha Kripa sindhubhya evacha Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So text 18 and 19 the samaḥ śatrau ca mitre ca tathā mānāpamānayoḥ śītoṣṇa-sukha-duḥkheṣu samaḥ saṅga-vivarjitaḥ tulya-nindā-stutir maunī santuṣṭo yena kenacit aniketaḥ sthira-matir bhakti-mān me priyo naraḥ. Translation: one who is equal to friends and enemies, who is equipoised in honor and dishonor, heat and cold, happiness and distress, fame and infamy, who is always free from contaminating association, always silent and satisfied with anything, who does not care for any residence, who is fixed in knowledge, who is engaged in devotional service. Such a person is very dear to me. So here are a few more qualities. Coming to the very end of the chapter, Krishna is describing few more qualities of a devotee who is engaged in devotional service. So sama means equal. So a person who is equal with śatrau and mitra, friend and enemy. It's actually very difficult to be equal with friend and enemy. What does it really mean? This simply means a person who sees beyond the bodily concept of life. In the bodily concept of life, we see somebody who is trying to comfort us or comfort this body, helping us to get enjoyment in this world. He is perceived as a friend. One who opposes it, one who opposes us and our progress in enjoyment, we perceive him as an enemy. But a person in divine consciousness is least bothered about sense enjoyment. Therefore, for him, there is no question of friend or enemy, because he sees each and every living entity as part of Krishna. Therefore, he is sama, he is equal to every living entity. Samaḥ śatrau ca mitre ca, he is equal to friend and enemy. Then, he is also equipoised in, honor and dishonor. Mānāpamānayoḥ, śītoṣṇa-sukha-duḥkheṣu samaḥ. So he is sama, he is again equal also in or equipoised in honor and dishonor, heat and cold, happiness and distress, fame and infamy, which is not possible for any ordinary person in this world to be equal or to be equipoised in all these dualities of life. Naturally, somebody honors us, we feel nice. If somebody dishonors, we want to maintain distance from such person. If it is summertime, outside heat, we want to have air condition in the home. If it is too cold outside, we want to have heating system inside the home. But a person who, say for example, yogis who live in Himalayas, if it is excessive cold, they are still without any clothing, practically just covering their lower parts of the body. If it is too hot, they are still without any clothing. They just continue to live, tolerating heat and cold. Similarly, happiness, distress, fame, infamy. One who is not affected by these dualities. That is possible only by the dint of devotional service. Who is free from all the contaminating association. Saṅga-vivarjitaḥ. Saṅga-vivarjitaḥ means a person who is free from the bad association. Because association is something that tremendously impacts our consciousness. If we associate with worldly minded people, then we develop desires like them. So a person who is on the path of perfecting his life, or a person who has already attained the perfection in his life, he carefully tries to avoid sangha or association of worldly minded people. Tulya-nindā-stutir. He is satisfied. Tulya-nindā-stutir. He considers ninda and stuti as one and same. Santuṣṭo. Santuṣṭa means satisfied with practically anything. Maunī, he is silent. That means doesn't speak unnecessarily, doesn't indulge in casual talks, the prajalpa. Casual talks are called prajalpa. So he doesn't indulge in casual talks. He speaks only as much as required. And he doesn't care for any residence. Aniketaḥ. Niketa means home. Like we say, people write on the outside their home. Niketan, Krishna Niketan. So Niketa means home. Aniketa means who doesn't care for a residence. There was a great Rishi, Lomarsh Rishi, who had benediction that with every kalpa means the day of Brahma. So with every one kalpa passing by, he will lose one hair from his body. And he will die only when all the hair on his body are fallen. When he has no more hair on the body, then only he will die. Not on the head, but hair all over the body. So one hair will fall only with one day of Brahma passing. So this Lomarsh Rishi has this benediction. You can imagine, his duration of life is even longer than the life of Brahma. Because he had so many hair on his body. So many hairs on his body. His one hair is going to fall only with the passing of one day of Brahma. And Brahma lives for 360 multiplied with 100. Brahma has 360 days in his 360 kalpas in 1 year. And Brahma lives for 100 years. So that means total 36,000 kalpas Brahma has to live. But Lomarsh Rishi has much more than 36,000 hairs on his body. So, yet he never had any residence. So one of his disciples asked, Guru Maharaj, why don't you make one bhajan kutir, some ashram to live for yourself? And he said, life is so short, so flickery. Why should I waste my time in building a home? Just imagine, who has such huge duration of life. He's saying the life duration is so short. Even that long duration of life is insignificant and flickery compared to eternity. If you compare to eternity, it's just like a flash of light, like in the lightning we see in the monsoon season. So a devotee of the Lord is like that. He doesn't care for building or having a permanent residence. Doesn't mean that he doesn't have a home. A sadhak or practicing devotee may have a home, or even a pure devotee may possess a nice palatial home. But the sense of not possessing that home, he knows that this is only a temporary situation in this world. Any home that I possess is actually a temporary situation. People in this world buy a home. Before that, somebody else was living in that home. And once they leave, or they sell the home, or they die, somebody else will continue to live in the home. So aniketaḥ, he's not very much eager or preoccupied to have the residence. And sthira-matir. Sthira-matir means mati means consciousness. So his consciousness is fixed, or in other words, he's also fixed in knowledge. Knowledge of absolute truth. I am not this body, I am spirit soul. Soul is part of Krishna, and therefore I have eternally some duties towards Krishna to be performed, which is devotional service. So he's fixed in this sthira-matir, in this consciousness, in that knowledge. Bhakti-mān. Such a person is always engaged in devotional service. So Krishna says, such a person is priyo naraḥ. He is very dear to me. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.